Essential Writing Book Number 3, Odd Type Writers. From Joyce and Dickens to Wharton and Welty, the obsessive habits and quirky techniques of great authors. This is also related to daily rituals, because this book also talks about writers' habits, but mostly about their quirks, which is great because we all have our own quirks. Here are some examples. Throughout history, famous authors have ventured outdoors, into the wilderness or onto city streets. And away from their studies and offices, they walked right into new ideas which were later transcribed onto the page. In his essay, Walking Tours, Robert Louis Stevenson praised the virtues of a long walk. He found the practice altogether inspiring. He wrote, "This one, who walks fast, with a keen look in his eyes, is all concentrated in his own mind. He is up at his loom, weaving and weaving to set the landscape to words." Charles Dickens used blue ink. He preferred to use blue ink, though his choice was not based on color preference. Rather, a special blue ink dried much faster than other colors, which meant he could skip the bothersome task of blotting his work. In the afternoons, Dickens went for a walk, which was never a stroll. His pace was remarkably fast. Flannery O'Connor worked slowly rather than in large bursts. Every morning, during her unvarying appointment, she inched forward line by line, fell back several pages, and crept forward again. She wrote about 3 pages per sitting, sometimes less, and often discarded her work the following day. O'Connor valued each page, whether it was tossed or kept, as an important part of the creative process. In a letter to Cecil Dawkins, she wrote, "Sometimes I work for months and have to throw everything away, but I don't think any of that was time wasted. Something goes on that makes it easier when it does come well. And the fact is that if you don't sit there every day, the day it would come well, you won't be sitting there." So what are your odd quirks and habits? For me, I have to have clean glasses and clean hands, or I can't bear to sit down and start writing. I have to run and wash them. And then sometimes my hair has to be a certain way, sometimes it has to be really tight against my head, other times it can be loose, but it always pulled back. And then I always have extra utensils sitting by. If I am in the flow of inspiration and I run out of ink in my fountain pen, I grab my ballpoint. I used to write with mechanical pencils for the longest time, because then I could just add more lead, but then I fell in love with ballpoints, and then once I discovered fountain pens, I've been using fountain pens pretty regularly ever since. And it was quite a struggle to find fountain pens that would keep up with me, so I had to find pens that would flow really wet ink. So think about your odds and quirks and don't run away from them. Use them to get your writing done. So check out Odd Typewriters.